Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the second day of the Cutting Edge Career Palooza. We are so excited to have you with us here today and so excited that you can be a part of this day. This morning, we will be doing Writing a Winning Resume with Jody Sue Kelly, and she has years of experience in supporting individuals as they're getting jobs. So I am excited to have her with us both today and tomorrow, and again this afternoon at 1:30 for some job seeker trivia. With that, I do want to just thank the Illinois State Board of Education for their dedication to this effort and support of this effort. And I'm going to hand the floor over to Kirsten, who is going to walk us through some housekeeping.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Kirsten Bayer with the Illinois Center for Specialized Professional Support at Illinois State University. And I, along with my colleagues, Brittany and our director, Amy, will be your technical support and moderators on this session. So if you need anything, please feel free to reach out to us via chat. Just a couple of housekeeping things before we get started with our presenter today. As a reminder, all participants on this webinar are in listen-only mode, and you cannot unmute yourselves. If you have questions as the webinar proceeds, you can post those in the chat or the Q&A, and we will address them at the end of the webinar. You can also feel free to raise your hand, and we will allow you to unmute yourselves if you would like to verbally ask a question. And then just a reminder that this session is being recorded, and the presentation recording from today will be up on the Cutting Edge Careers Palooza webinar, or Cutting Edge Careers Palooza website, following this session, and you can view it at a later date or share it with fellow students or colleagues if you feel that it might be relevant to them. And then just another reminder that everything for the Cutting Edge Careers Palooza is on that website, and we will put that in the chat momentarily. And then with that, I'm going to hand it off to our presenter today to introduce herself, Jody Sue Kelly.
Hi, everyone. I'm again Jody Sue Kelly, and I have, as indicated at the very beginning, I have spent years and years, maybe like around 40, helping people to get jobs, all the way from helping people get their very first job to helping people who are high-level professionals. So it's been my passion. It's been my life's work. So I have, in that time, I have critiqued and helped people write as well as critique thousands of resumes. So what I wanted to be able to do today in our hour together is give you tips on how to write and how to design a winning resume, one that gets noticed by employers for the right reasons and moves you forward to actually get an interview. So we're going to use chat a lot in this session. So make sure that you have your fingers ready. First slide. So question. So we're going to try chat right away. So my question to you is how much time, so let's pretend an employer gets a bunch of resumes. They have listed a job, and so they have this pile. How much time on average will an employer spend looking over a resume? Use chat. So Michelle says a minute. Amy says 10. Let's have some more. It doesn't matter. There's no penalty for there's no prize for getting it right, and there's no penalty for getting it wrong. 1 minute if it's formatted badly. 3 minutes if it's formatted great. Okay, here is, I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to move ahead. Here is the shocking answer. James says 5 minutes, and the correct answer is 7 seconds. That's it. So we spend, I want you to picture this, hours, if not days, crafting a resume, and employers spend very little time looking at them. Now, I'm talking at that very first level where they're just sorting into I'm going to take a second, more careful look at this person, or sorting into what I call the reject pile. These people I'm not, like, I'm done already. I'm not going to look any further. So there was a study by a company called Ladders, and they said in their study that recruiters actually spend an average of 6 seconds. So I don't want to quibble over that 1 second. So let's just say you want your resume to pop out and to get attention for all the right reasons. So again, so that's for a quick sort. If they like your resume, then I think some of you are on track where it's a minute, 5 minutes, 3 minutes. Now you're going to get a more careful look. Let's look at one other quick question, and that is, what percentage of resumes submitted to a job will actually get screened out? So if employer gets 200 resumes, gets 150 resumes, gets some number of resumes, how many are they going to screen out? And Michelle is saying 85%. Let's see, 90%. Well, of course, 75%. I'm seeing as well. Different employers are going to have different procedures, obviously, but on average, among all the resumes that an employer gets, around 5 people will get interviewed. Again, some employers maybe only interview 3, some maybe interview 7, but on average, they interview 5 people. So, so what percentage normally are screened out? About 98%. So if you're in the 90s, you're good. But what I think is so important, so to me, what the question is how do you make your 7 seconds count? How can you stand out so that an employer will focus on your resume and give you the minute, the 3 minutes, the 5 minutes? And that's what I want us to look at in the time that we have today. So going back, get ready for chat again. I'm going to show you 2 resumes side by side. On the left, we're going to call that A. And on the right, we're going to call it B. And what I want you to do in chat is just on the face of it, don't even try to read it, just on the face of it, which of these 2 resumes jumps out at you the most? A on the left, B on the right. And I'm seeing B, B, more, B. Okay, it looks like B has it almost hands down. Can I ask you this, and could you put this in chat? Like, why do you think that B jumps out more? What is it about B? Looks polished, the color, Joe says color. Yeah, I think that I agree with Joe, with Brittany. It looks like somebody spent a little bit more time on this. The first one, it just is like yeah, there's no color blocking. It's just a laundry list. It's just sort of boring. It's boring to read. So if I'm an employer and I'm going through resumes, and imagine I'm going through them very, very quickly because I've got if I have 100, I don't want to spend. If I spend 1 minute on each, it's going to take me an hour and 40 minutes just to go through those resumes. I don't want to do that. So people will look very quick. I think that Brittany Fowler is on the left, or on the right, is going to jump out. So exactly, it's eye-catching. So if you only have 7 seconds, let's go with the right. I'm going to show you one other example. So it's just a little bit different. But again, let's go A, B, which is the most visually appealing? Again, I'm seeing B. I'm seeing B again. Brittany, Michelle. Anybody else want to vote? Yep. Okay. So I'm seeing lots of, I do like A better than the last one, but I do like A better. Yeah, I think I agree that on this one, this A does look better than this one. But even if I had A, and B, I think most people are still going to pick B. So it's you know, it's all probably in degrees. So what I want to show you very quickly is a trick to make, well, I don't know, it's a trick, it's a tip on how you can easily block a resume and add color. So most of you, I'm going to guess, are familiar with Microsoft Word. And if you are creating a cover letter, if you're creating a resume, you're, you know, putting together, you know, some kind of marketing brochure, I guess, if you will, to sell yourself to employers or to colleges, universities, schools in general. When you go to Word and you say open new file, then in you have the option to say what kind of file that you want to open, and enter cover letter in the search box or interview resume. And if you click on that little magnifying glass, you're going to get an entire like display of options to pick from. So you can see this one that says Ian Hansen. That is one that I used, I believe, to create Brittany's. And then I want to show you one other, I'll show you that that there are 2 pages. And you'll notice on this that you're going to get all these resume templates and cover letter templates, and they're matching. So you can pick a style. And if you scroll down there even more, I crossed off the one with the picture because in the United States, it causes all types of legal issues to include a picture. So employers don't want them to be included. In European countries, it is customary to include a photo, but in the US, you wouldn't do it unless you were wanting to be a model, an actress, a television personality, because then a person's look is going to be part of the job requirements. But I think that most of us probably are not moving in that direction at this point. So that's how you make it look good. Now what I want to show you is how do you draw interest? So my next point is there are way too many resumes that I see where people want to do one resume and then they want to send it out to everyone. They send the same resume to 100 employers, or they send the same resume, attach it on like Indeed.com. And it's not customized. So what that does is it forces employers to try to read between the lines to figure out if the person who is applying is even a good fit. And employers, like I said, they don't read that far. They get like, 7 seconds into it and they're already making a quick decision. So if the applicant does not address what the employer has spent a lot of time and money posting in an ad, then that applicant will not be as competitive as the applicant who addressed all those needs that the employer expressed. So one size does not fit all. People can have one master resume, but each time that you apply for a job, you're going to need to customize it a little. And the thing is that customizing a resume, once you understand the process of it, it doesn't even take that much time. It takes like 10, 15 minutes. If the job is in the same field, like if I'm applying to multiple jobs in the same field, not going to take that long to make these kinds of adjustments. So what I want us to do is look at how to customize, because I think that that is one of the most important lessons that I hope that you take away today. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a quick little activity. And in this activity, you are the employer. And so together, we're going to evaluate 2 different applicants for the job. And as the employer, you're going to evaluate the resumes of those 2 candidates. And then we're going to rate them based on how you think, how well you think that they meet the qualifications that you were looking for as the employer for this job. And then we'll talk a little bit about why you picked one over the other. So we're going to review the job description, then we're going to evaluate the resumes, then we're going to do a rating scale where we're going to rate each of these applicants. And then we're going to talk a little bit about who's the better candidate and why. So here is the job description. And you are, again, you're going to be the employer. And I tried to make it something that everybody, I actually am sitting here where I sit right this second. I'm in Annapolis, Maryland. You're in Illinois. I don't know what, like, you know, if we have the same businesses. So I just decided to use Safeway. I thought grocery store, it's nationwide. And this is somebody who's applying to an entry-level position in the bakery department. So if you're the manager of the bakery department at the Safeway grocery store, the job description is going to give us an overview of what it is that you've decided that you're looking for. So using chat, again, can you tell me what kind of thing, what do you see in the job description that will be, it might be an important qualification? Pick one that's an important qualification for the applicants to meet. So as an example, it looks to me like what's going to be important at Safeway is that somebody provides friendly service. So I want whoever's resumes I get to, I should read it and think that they're friendly people. Otherwise, why would I bring them in for an interview? So what do you see? What's something that is a qualification for this job? Watching chat, knowledge of food and safety. Yes, they want somebody who's going to keep the place clean, make sure that you're not violating like sanitation, you know, laws or regulations. So knowledge of food and safety, good. What else? Being detailed and being very friendly. So it says that they have to be fast and provide friendly service. And notice in terms of in terms of the I think detail oriented, they have to monitor dates. Like you can't sell bakery items that are 2 days old as though they're fresh. So you have to ensure that that you know they're sold by the use best by date. And I sing it that you also have to be able to do displays so that the displays are, you know, in front of the bakery so that you're going to have a wide variety of products so that you can sell more, so you can upsell. And notice also that you want somebody who can assist customers with special orders and product selection. Somebody might come and say, you know, I'm having a birthday party. You know, here's what I have. And as an employee, I need to be able to make suggestions. So basically what I just want you to see is in the ad that this was right off of indeed.com. In the ad, the employer is going to tell job seekers exactly what they're looking for. This is what I want in a new employee. So what I want to do is I'm going to show you a way that employers oftentimes use to evaluate job applicants. So you've passed the 7-second test. And you are in the, I want to take a closer look at this set of resumes, but I really only want to interview 5. So even though I might have now a pile of 15 or 20 resumes that I'm going to look at more carefully, because that's only going to take me 20 minutes instead of looking at all 150 of them, which would take me too long. So now I'm going to look. And many employers, especially, I'll tell you, hospitals, universities, anywhere where it's a big company and they have a personnel department, will use some type of system to make sure that when they're pulling applicants or pulling people to interview, that they're being as objective and as fair as possible. So our rating sheet here is that the qualifications, and I pulled all of these from this ad. If you went back and you read this ad and you looked at what is the employer looking for, I've listed them on the left-hand column. So they're looking for someone who can use a slicer, package and label baked goods, somebody who can monitor product dates, stock displays, clean, sanitize the prep areas, the tools and the equipment, assist customers with those special orders, provide fast, friendly service, and comply with all food safety and sanitation regulations or requirements. So the way these systems work, and even for employers that don't maybe have a physical system, they still are doing it mentally. They're comparing what it is they're looking for, what are those skills and qualifications to whoever is applied. So we have Brittany, and we're going to look at Brittany's resume, and then we're going to look at Brianna's. And the way in which employers will score these things is that if I'm reading and the person has there's no evidence whatsoever that this person has any skills, qualification, they have not addressed my need, the employer's need on their resume or cover letter, but right now we're condensing and only looking at the resume, they're going to get a 0. If I think they might meet it, but like I have to sort of read between the lines, but I'm kind of think that they got it. Like I tell you, a perfect example is where an employer says must have high school diploma, and somebody doesn't list their high school diploma under their education, but they do say that they went to 2 years of community college. Well, if you went to 2 years of community college, then the likelihood that you have a diploma, a high school diploma, is pretty high. So, but you didn't directly address it, so they might only get 1 point because it's not really crystal clear, but I assume that the person meets this criteria. And then if they do meet, they totally addressed it, and there's clear evidence in their resume, their cover letter, that they've addressed this skill or requirement, then we're going to give them 2 points. So anyway, our rating, now what we're going to do, and we're going to try to do this together, we are going to rate Brittany. And so the only place we have to look on this resume, her address and all of that isn't going to be that interesting because it's not part of what the employer is looking for. The education either, although I'm glad it's there, and the interest. So, but we're going to be looking at her job experience. So we're only looking at these 3 items in order to fill out our qualifications. So if we are looking at what score, our ratings system, 0, 1, or 2, what score would we give Brittany for slicing, packaging, and labeling baked goods? Does she address that in her resume where she's worked at the Bay Hills Deli? Will we give her a 0, a 1, or a 2? She's saying that she's managed phone orders. She prepared large orders. And she excelled in a lot of different tasks. So Michelle is giving her a 0. Anybody else? Brittany, you're giving her a 1. Siddharth is a 1. Amy, you're giving her a 1. Any more? Okay. For this one, I'm going to give her a 1 because I'm going to try to keep score, or you can too if you have paper and pencil, of how she does. You guys, the ones of you who gave her 1, what is so perfect about this is that different employers, because it's different personalities, some would give a 0. I would probably have given a 0, but other people will give her a 1. They're a little bit, more flexible. That's fine. How about monitor product dates and stock displays? You giving her a 0, a 1, or a 2? Let's vote fast. Manage pickup orders, prepared large orders, and maybe did some other things that were asked of her. And now Amy's giving her a 0. Anybody else? Siddharth is 0. Look like 0 so far is winning. So we're giving Brittany a 0. Okay, next one. Clean, sanitize food prep areas, tools and equipment. I'm seeing Brittany, I think you're giving her a 0 for this one. Anybody else? Quick, Amy, a 0. So far she has a 1, a 0, and a 0. How about assist customers with special orders and product selection? Am I seeing votes? Okay, now we're giving her a 1. A 1. Brittany's going to give her a 2. And it looks like the 1s have it, so I'm giving her a 1. Provide fast and friendly service. Quick, does she address it? Fast and friendly, manage prep, prepared large orders, and adapted and excelled at many different things. So you guys are giving her a 2 on that one. And then last, comply with all food safety and sanitation requirements. Okay, we're seeing 0, 0, 2, 1. All right. Well, if I average those, how about if I give her a 1? So if we add those up, she got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 points. And the possibility was she would get 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. So she got 5 points out of a possible 12. So, Brittany's sort of in the middle of where any applicant might be. And I will say, you guys, just so that you know, you were a lot more generous than I would have been. I'm pretty hard about this because I paid for an ad. I want an employee. I want to make sure that you meet it. Now, the other thing though, if we step back, and I look at Brittany and I think of what is, she worked at a deli. She was food prep and dishwasher. What is the chance that she actually at a deli sliced, packaged, and labeled baked goods? I think she probably did that every day. Monitor product date, stock displays, probably every day. I think when I look at it, she did all those things, but they didn't make it onto her resume. So now let's look at our second, and we're going to do it again, but this time we'll try to do it quickly. So now we have Brianna. Again, the places that we have to look for Brianna are a little bit, a couple more than what we had to look for Brittany. You have to look at her profile, where she says reliable, mature, creative, high school senior, seeking a part-time position where I can use my customer service skills to provide exceptional service to the public. We have to look at her traits. She says she's reliable, dependable, she's friendly, she's hardworking, she's a team player, and she has excellent communication skills. all according to her. And then we're going to look at her food prep experience. Make sandwiches and deli items in a high volume restaurant, answers customer questions, makes recommendations, prepares special orders and party trays. She keeps display cases stocked and organized. She sanitizes all equipment counters after every order. She operates kitchen equipment, including the meat slicer, meets all applicable health and safety standards, and tries to handle all transactions quickly and accurately. So now with those 3 areas in mind, let's rate Brittany. How about, let's start with slice, package, and label baked goods. What are you guys going to give her? Brittany says 2. Michelle says 2. Not sure. James is 2. So we'll go with, we'll go with 2. So if you didn't vote, vote on the next one. Monitor product dates and stock displays. Does Brittany or Brianna address it? What are we going to give her? I'm thinking I'm seeing 2s again. 2s, 2, 2. Excellent. James. Okay, let's go clean and sanitize food prep equipment. Does she address it? Let's see, she says sanitize all equipment and counters. Yep, 2. How about then help customers with special orders? I think you guys are getting on the flow. And then provide fast and friendly service. She says over here, she's friendly. She says in her profile, she wants to provide excellent service. And I think that she says that she makes, answers questions and makes recommendations. So we're going to, I'm seeing 2 again, and comply with all food safety and sanitation recommendations. Okay, so I'm seeing 2s again. So do you guys see what I'm saying is that now Brianna got 12 out of 12 and Brittany got 5 out of 12. And yet, like I think we all agree, it's the same job. They both worked at Bay Hills Deli. But what Brianna did was took that like extra little bit of time to customize her resume. So my discussion, or the thing that I want to know is, so if you were the employer, you were Safeway, the bakery department, and you're looking to bring somebody in for an interview, and you can only pick one, who are you most likely to want to bring in for an interview, Brianna or Brittany? This is where you answer. Do you want Brianna? Do you want Brittany? Brianna? Yep, Brianna. Although Brittany, you should pick Brittany because it's the same name, just spelled differently. Like that affinity. Yeah, but Brianna. Yeah, so we want Brianna. So here's what I want us to go back and I want us to look at. I think that we're going to agree on that. Let's take an area over here that you guys gave Brittany a 0 on, and an area that you gave her a 0. I wrote them all down. Now I can't find my own notes. Was, I think that on monitor dates and stock displays, you guys gave her a 0. So my question is then, how much time would it have taken Brittany to add a bullet over here, a simple bullet that said monitored freshness dates and help create stock displays or refilled the potato chip, all of the food displays? How long would that have taken to add that little bullet? Michelle was saying seconds. Yeah. And so like, even if you want to, say, well, it's hard to write, it's hard to think, a minute. And if we looked at, there were only 12 qualifications, and I know that Brittany was as competitive as Brianna. She just didn't spend enough time. I think maximum, it would have taken her maximum 10 minutes to turn this into a customized resume. So that's the concept, is that what you want to do is, and I'm going to show you a system for this, but is to figure out what is everything that the employer wants. And then I want to figure out, how do I address that on my resume? So I wanted to show you another example, because I'm thinking like, okay, who am I speaking to? I'm speaking to many of you. Maybe you haven't had a paying job before. So I wanted to show you one where a participant or an applicant has zero work history, but actually has a really strong resume. So what I did was, my applicant is Eloise Clary, and she has no paid work experience, although we could argue, if you like, that she has done babysitting. But when I'm saying no paid work experience, I mean, like, she didn't get a paycheck where Social Security was taken out, where there were benefits or workman's comp or any of that kind of stuff. Like, yeah, she was paid by maybe her mother or paid by a neighbor, but has not had any paid experience. So in my example here, because I wanted to be able to show you how can you do this, Eloise wants to get her very, very first job. And her very first job, I just, in order to save us time, I didn't show you the ad, but you now know how I do it. I went online and I looked up a job on Indeed.com for an animal technician at the SPCA, the Society for Prevention of Cruelty to Animals, where people go to adopt animals. So on the left, what I did was I wrote down all the qualifications that the SPCA is looking for in their animal technician. And so it's enthusiastic and energetic. They're looking for somebody who can feed, clean, and medicate, or I think that's a typo on my part. No, because I copied and brought it in. So it's a typo on their ad. Anyway, applies medication to animals, provide high quality care, keeps the shelter clean, helps maybe potential adopters find a pet, loves animals, has lots of patience, can lift 50 pounds, and has some basic computer skills, because you're going to need computer skills to work at the SPCA. And again, I have the rating sheet down here, our rating. And what I just want you to see within this is that, so the way I wrote her resume is, her objective is, I'm a motivated high school graduate, or you could say high school student, with a passion for animals, seeking a position in animal care that combines my love of animals with, helping the community. And what I want to do is channel my passion into a career in animal care. What I did then was I looked at, what kind of things would you do as a babysitter that might be applicable to what somebody's looking for animal care. And I said, assisted siblings and neighborhood children with their homework assignments and special projects, which shows that I am a helper. Definitely, I think that you could even within that, say that, and I could add that like I patiently did that with my siblings and neighborhood children. I offered fun educational activities to children. I prepared healthy, age-appropriate snacks and meals. I played games, sports, and other planned activities. By the way, I want you to think about this. This is what babysitters do. Might not be the words that you would normally choose to describe those things, which basically I take the kids outside and we go to the park. That's played games, sports, and other planned activities. And I maintain routines that were set up or established by the parents. And then because we have a pet in my household, I fed animals and I provided treats like to my cat or my dog. I bathed and groomed our animals. I've walked the dogs in the neighborhood on a leash. I administered medication, like I had to put, tick or flea medicine between their shoulders on an as needed basis. I clean and sanitized all of their like bedding. And I've played with toys with the pet. So catch with the dog and with a laser pen with the cat. And I removed ticks off of animals and I've treated them for fleas. So if you go through and we did the rating, which we're not, you're just going to have to trust me on this. She basically would get 2 points on all of these because they are addressed. Even over here, can lift 50 pounds. And I put strong computer skills. And so even though Eloise has never had a job at all, she still looks like she would be a good candidate. And I didn't do it, but I thought about it. But, if you've done things like lawn care or you've helped a parent or a grandparent or just did it on your own, decided you wanted to paint the walls in your own room, you can take those jobs and you can create something out of them. Well, not jobs, they're tasks, they're volunteer work that oftentimes match the kind of things that our employers are looking for in entry level, in their entry level positions. So I want to show you a system. I use this from people who have a first job all the way to recently, I was helping somebody who was applying for a court administrator job for the federal court system in Baltimore. And what I do is I have a sheet like this. This one's a shortened version because I only have like 6 or 7 lines, but sometimes, what employers are looking for is much longer. And so my form takes up a whole page. But anyway, here is how you customize your cover letter and your resume. You can list every credential and every asset that the employer is looking for under the skill and requirement column. And then as you're writing your cover letter or your resume, what I do with people that I coach and that I help is that we're putting a check mark. It's like, well, this said that you had to be able to lift 50 pounds. I don't see where that's on here. So then we'll add it to the resume and then we put a check mark where it says it says that you have to be really patient and you have to have a love of animals. And let's say that we didn't put that in the resume, I could address that in the cover letter. It's like that as I babysat children, I found that I have a great deal of patience. And so, I can make sure that I address that in my cover letter. And what I do is I make sure that anything that is mentioned in the skill requirement area is addressed either in the cover letter or the resume. And that way I make sure that anybody that I'm helping has customized their resume, because those are the people that are more likely to get into the let's take a closer look and let's interview this person pile. So that sort of transitions me into let's look at cover letters. And so, a lot of people, I even train other professionals who help people look for jobs. And, a lot of people even the professionals don't want to help people write cover letters because there's a belief that most employers don't even read them. And so the idea is, oh, do I have to, I don't want to write, I don't want to write a resume, but I want you to picture this. So before you go on a job interview, you got an opportunity to apply at the SPCA, you got an opportunity to apply at the Safeway in the bakery department. You got this opportunity to apply at Home Depot, wherever. And so you go out and you buy a brand new pair of pants to wear on this interview. And you spend 2 hours searching, trying stuff on, making sure it just looks right. And so you spend 2 hours picking out these pants. And then before you go to the interview, you actually spend time ironing the pants so that they look sharp because you want to look your best. So you've spent a lot of time and money on these pants. It's probably true that when you actually go to the interview, the employer will not notice that you have a new pair of pants on, but they will definitely notice if you show up with no pants on. Um, well, the same can be said with cover letters, right? It's like maybe the employer will read them and maybe they won't, but they will notice if the applicant does not send one. By not writing a cover letter, the participant really is robbing themselves of an opportunity to express things that can't be captured in the resume. Like who the applicant is as a person, why the applicant wants this particular job, what the applicant respects about, working for the Safeway company. These are the sort of details that can make or break an applicant's shot at a job, especially if they're being weighted against other people who have very similar credentials who took the time to write the cover letter. So writing a cover letter, I think, is just a really good way to refine your thoughts and prepare for the interview. Let's look at a couple numbers. Because cover letters, again, I know they're not all that fun to write, but 26, basically 1 out of 4 recruiters, people in human resource management, recruiters definitely for colleges, but in, personnel departments, will read the cover letters and do consider them to be important. So that's 1 out of 4. So I want to emphasize that this study that was done where I've drawn these results were done with where organizations had actual recruiters or personnel departments. Many companies that we're applying to, like little mom and pop, or a corner deli or little grocery store, they don't really have recruiters. They have a business owner, and business owners are definitely more likely to read the cover letter than recruiters. So the smaller the company, the more important the cover letter is going to be. And another study showed that 6 out of 10 employers do want a cover letter attached to the resume. So you're really taking a risk if you don't write one. One study showed that half of all recruiters think the cover letter is the second best method to give your resume a boost. So here's the thing. Hiring managers love them. How closely they read them, we don't know, but they do help you to get noticed. So we don't want to overlook that. So what I want to do is I want to show you the simple way of writing them. And again, in order to have a cover letter, you want to have the job description that outlines the assets and the qualifications, the skills and qualifications that the employer is looking for. And what you're going to find if you come to my interview session tomorrow, everything to me goes back to what is in that job description. So don't submit a cover letter if you don't have interest in personalizing it. A one-size-fit-all cover letter is just about as bad as a one-size-fit-all resume. They just don't make the cut. So the thing that you have to have in advance is the ad. So this is an actual job posting. I obviously shortened it, clipped it, but I didn't write. I'm too lazy to write stuff. I take it from somewhere. So this was on Indeed. And this was for a job posting as a medical assistant. The posting said, we're seeking a medical assistant who is friendly, well-spoken, and can multitask in a fast-paced environment. I need to make sure that those three qualifications, again, are going to be in the resume. I'm going to address them. But here's an example how to also customize it in your cover letter. So I want you to see that the cover, basically the ad tells me what to put in the cover letter. So read purple to purple. The job, the employer says, I want friendly. I say, I'm friendly and I enjoy engaging with people from all walks of life. They say, I want somebody who's well spoken. I say, I have well developed conversational skills and I can relate well to patients. They say, can multitask in a fast paced environment. I address it by saying, I recognize that in this type of environment, days can be long, hectic, and require multitasking. I'm totally up for that challenge. So it's a parallel. Whatever they say that they're looking for, that's what I say. Those are the parts of me that I want to address. And then here was one for a production worker. Again, straight off of Indeed.com. Must be willing to learn new skills. What do I say? I am eager to learn new skills and be an asset to your company. They say can work with minimal instruction, which basically means they don't have a lot of supervision. So I say, well, once someone shows me how to do something, I learn really quickly and require minimal oversight. You know, and instruction. And then has attention to detail. I say, I've always paid attention to detail, which has served me well as a backyard auto mechanic. Or for me, I pay attention to detail, which has served me really well when I grow vegetables, or actually I raise monarch butterflies. So, you know, or you could say when you play, as you play an instrument, or when you do your homework, whatever it is that I pay attention to those kind of details. So it's a parallel, and it's basically, you're just saying what they say in the ad is what I want to build my cover letter around. So what I'm suggesting is, for those of you who have worked, I want to tell you an example of something I like. My very first job, well, was working at Dairy Delight, which is like a Dairy Queen. I was kitchen help. I was 15 or 16 years old. And then I graduated and I moved to McDonald's. And so I worked for McDonald's for a summer. But if you ask me, what did you do at McDonald's? I have a hard time remembering. It's like, well, I like waited on customers. I ran the cash register. Like I gave people their food orders. I couldn't think of more than 3 or 4 bullets. My idea is that if you have worked somewhere and you cannot remember what you did on that job, and you're putting together your resume or cover letter, then a really good idea is go on to Indeed.com or go to Monster, go to some job posting website and look at McDonald's counter clerk, and they will list all of the duties and all of the responsibilities and what they're looking for. And those will serve for me as just a reminder. So what I did was I just pulled one up for Dollar General, like Family Dollar store. And this is retail, but what are they looking for? Somebody who provides excellent customer service, greets and assists customers. So if I've done retail, I would take that duty and I'd move it right to my resume or put it in my cover letter. I operated a cash register, a scanner to itemize and total customers' purchases. And so I just want you to see, you don't have to work hard, work smart. Find current job postings to help jog your memory. And it also will help you to get the wording right. So it's a great way to, I think, begin to build. And if, let's say, you don't have any work history, but you're thinking, well, I do want to get a summer job this year. And so I am going to need to put together a resume, and maybe I'm thinking I want to work in retail. You still want to go look up these job descriptions, because then what you're going to see is what retailers are looking for so you can make sure that you build that into your resume to be able to give them examples. So basically what we have covered during this session is what are the steps to customize your cover letters and your resumes so that you'll look like a good fit. The answer is it all goes back to taking the job description that you're applying for and making sure that you make whatever adjustments that you need to make in your resume and cover letter to look like you are a perfect fit for that particular employer. So what I'd like to do is then open this up to take any questions that you, that maybe this is generated for you. Were there any questions in the Q&A?
I haven't seen any come through the Q&A at this time, but if you do have any questions, you can type those in the chat where we've been playing along with the resume game as well. So any questions specifically for Jody, we can absolutely take the time to answer those.
Yeah, I just, as people are thinking if they have a question, it's just my whole point. And what I really wanted you to get out of this session is that having a customer or having a customized cover letter and resume makes a huge difference, not only in terms of who gets called in for an interview, but I would argue it also has impact on the salary that an employer will offer. If you look like you are a better match, and maybe there's not a big difference, but even 7-Eleven has a range of salaries, and maybe it's and I can't remember, but I do know, I looked it up, like what is Illinois' minimum wage, but let's just hypothetically, I'm going to say it's, $10.50 an hour, maybe it's 11. But even a 7-Eleven is going to have a range from $11 an hour for a new employee to say $12.50 an hour. And, if you get a quarter more an hour, that's $500 a year. A 50 cents an hour is $1,000 a year. A dollar an hour is $2,000 a year. It makes a difference. The closer you look to being the perfect candidate for this job or a person that they want, the more they're also going to be willing to pay. So it not only helps you get an interview, but it's going to help you when you start talking about money.
Wonderful. So thank you so much, Jody, for your time. And I do want to remind everyone, and Jody, I don't know if you've given your secret code or not, but for the gamification piece and Gameably, the Palooza world that we have, using those secret codes and participating in those challenges, 2 out of the 3 prizes actually that you could potentially have the option of picking is some one-on-one time with Jody Sue Kelly to look over your resume and talk about interview skills and styles. So don't forget to participate in that as well. And Jody, if you have your secret code and you want to share that out with everyone.
Oh, I didn't know that I had to do that. I thought that they had to look at it through the thing. Wow. I may not. It was on a slide. Maybe if I go back and I look at. Oh, I think it said no paid work experience or no paid work. That's what it was.
No paid work. Okay, so that will be your secret code that you'll submit in your Gameably world. And then we will actually be live again with Jody Sue Kelly here at 12:30 to play a fun Jeopardy game regarding interviewing and resumes as well. So be sure to join us at the same way you joined us for this session at 12:30. And thank you all so much for participating today.
I hope I see you then.